So today's project is we're working on our holding tank. We have it's made by Raritan. It's called the hold and treat system. So it's two parts. It's a holding tank, it's about 20 gallons, and then there's a treatment tank that's about 1 gallon or 1.5 gallons, something like that. And it's a Type 1 marine sanitation device. So what that does is treats the waste so that we can discharge inside 3 miles. Unless it's a no discharge zone. And basically the way it works is there's a 20 gallon holding tank, so the waste goes from the heads into this holding tank, and then when the holding tank reaches a certain level it starts the process, and so when it processes it moves waste from the holding tank into a treatment tank. And inside this treatment tank there are some electrodes that pass current through the salt water and waste, as well as a macerator pump. And when the electrodes pass current, it converts the salt water into an acid, which attacks all the bacteria. And so that treats all the waste. It gets macerated, it gets treated in 2 stages. There's a first stage where it gets macerated and treated with the electrodes, and then it gets just treated with the electrodes in a second stage. And then once it's done, it gets pumped overboard. Well, the next treatment process pushes what's in the second stage out. So the problem with ours is that the holding tank has this pressure sensor in a tube, and that pressure sensor is what it uses to run an automatic. So there's a low pressure switch and a high pressure switch. They look like this, and when it sees pressure in the tank above the low pressure switch, this makes up and tells it to start processing when it's in automatic. And the high pressure switch gives you an alarm to say the tank's getting high. So those are just in a tube, and I have to take that tube out. I got a new seal for the tube where it goes in the tank, and hopefully that's that, and that fixes it. So the bad part, aside from it being a holding tank that I have to work on, is that the holding tank is underneath the main engine. So that's it. It's down there. I gotta get a flashlight. Say hi, Ava. Say hi, Ava.
Hi.
Here we go. So that white thing down there, that's the holding tank down there. And it goes underneath the engine pan. And there's no way to really get to it. I do have in the bedroom where our prop shaft goes through. That's the holding tank down there. And that tube there on the right is the level switch. So I was going to try and take it out from here, but I don't have enough room. So I'm going to try and slide it forward to a spot where I do have room, and then take that level tube out. So here goes nothing. Alright, well, after struggling pretty much all day trying to get this level switch out, I have to call it quits for today. I'm gonna come up with a new plan. Got down into the bilge, and the problem is, well, first we got distracted. So there was a second vent line on the holding tank that I had to pull apart a wall in Zoe's room, and I remembered a hose being abandoned in there. Well, I found that it was a previous vent that was on the holding tank. It must have gotten clogged at some point. Something happened, I don't know, and they just left it there. Well, Zoe's room stinks a lot of times, so I'm thinking that vent that was just kind of left in her wall may have been the cause. So decided to tear apart her wall again to remove that hose. So that was a distraction. Then once I got into that wall, I saw another hose that was abandoned in there. This one was a larger one. It was like a 1.25 inch maybe hose. So before I put the wall back together, I decided I was going to find out where that hose went. Turns out that goes to a through hole that's right next to the exhaust through hole for the engine. Another thing we've noticed is that when we run the engine, her room smells like diesel exhaust. So I think there's a chance that with that through hole being right next to where the exhaust for the diesel comes out, it may have been coming back up somehow through that hose that's just empty sitting there in her wall. So I decided to take the time to get that out. That was a pretty big distraction. That took some time. We got those out and then got back to the holding tank, and the problem is that when you go to slide it forward, it runs into a board and you have to slide it tank to port, but you can't slide it to port because there's like 6 hoses running along the port side of the tank. So now I'm kind of stuck. I gotta get to that level switch. So my last chance is that see if I can lift the flooring above where the level switch is right now, which is the flooring underneath the washer dryer. But I'm just about done with this project for today. I need to get cleaned up. I'm absolutely disgusting. So, I mean, I guess we made some progress. Hopefully her room is better now with the diesel fumes and the holding tank smell. But only time will tell. So we'll see. We'll see how it smells after it's been closed for a while. Alright, I guess that's it for now. Alright, good morning. So, it's day 2 of the holding tank project. Kind of gave up yesterday after struggling all day trying to get the level sensor out. So, one thing I've always found is you take a break and you come back, 9 times out of 10 you can solve the problem because you got fresh eyes on it. After struggling, you kind of get hung up on different things. So, for me, I woke up and went at it a different way this morning, and this is what I got. So, underneath our washer and dryer, I found a floor panel that I was able to lift up, and that white tube there is the level sensor. So, that's all I need. I can now get that out. So that was the hard part, and should hopefully be able to get this job done in a couple of hours. So, time to get it out. Okay, good morning. So yesterday was a nasty job day. We got the holding tank back together, and I replaced the joker valve on Ava's head. So that's all working. One thing I did screw up is to show you the holding tank down here. So that pipe there is the level sensor, and you notice there's a hole in it. Well, that hole is where a pressure switch goes. That specific pressure switch is the low pressure switch. So once the level gets above a certain 3 inches on the switch, it says, that's what tells the holding tank to process the waste when it's an automatic. The second one is the high pressure switch. That's for the high level warning at 10 inches. So those are like chintzy plastic switches, and when I was screwing the new one in, it just snapped it off because I was putting it in too tight. So if you have a Raritan hold and store system with the Electroscan, hold and treat, that's what it's called, hold and treat system with the Electroscan, the hold and treat pressure switches are not the strongest, and apparently they mess up over time because, like I said, that we had to replace ours. Good news is, though, that I have a much better understanding of the whole system after doing this whole thing, and it is working. I also did an acid clean on the system, and the manual, they recommend that every 6 months or so. So we did an acid clean last night. Everything's working good now. Yeah, so tomorrow, it's holiday today, so tomorrow I'll order some new switches. I'm going to order a new low pressure switch so that it'll run automatic, as well as just some spares, and also probably a couple more joker valve spares, because those are also a very nasty job, but my understanding is you have to do it every so often on these electric heads. So that's that job. That's pretty much done for now. Next job for today is yesterday when I was working on the holding tank. That went down a rabbit hole of different things, and one of them was we found a hose, like I was saying yesterday, that kind of dead-ended in Zoe's, the wall next to Zoe's room, and I think that might be part of the reason why it smells like diesel when the engine runs. So I ripped that hose out, but that hose went to a through hole. That through hole has no isolation valve, so we're going to remedy that today. So I went to Lowe's, got a brass ball valve. I wanted to get a brass plug, but I didn't find any, so I threw some Teflon tape on here, tighten this up, and it'll have, the valve's going to stay closed, so it's 2 points of failure to get this thing. And the hole is above the water line, so I mean, but if we're sailing though, it might be below the water line. But anyways, we got two seals, and that through hole is underneath our bed, way up there. You see, I threw just a plug in there for the night to hold the water out, and I need to take that coupling off and then screw this valve on. And then the second job today is our steering system leak. So that block is the relief valves, and I'm hoping that's the last thing. Obviously you can see it's leaking down below, so I'm going to replace that today. Should be hopefully fairly straightforward. And the new one's right here. So let's get that done. Get the system rebled, and hopefully we can cross off a steering woes off of our list of things to do. Alright, fun fact. If you want a boat, you'll learn how to be a contortionist. Much better.
Good morning. We're setting sail today. We're heading to Marblehead, Massachusetts. We are going to anchor. No, we are going to moor there for the night and explore the area. Hopefully it's a beautiful day of sailing, great wind, Just checking out the angles. Everything's stowed away. Hopefully you can hear me over the motor.
So we got a beautiful sunrise this morning over the shipyard, and hopefully things go well and we'll get underway without issue. Don's gonna give us a hand. So here goes nothing. Can you hand me the red winch that's down there?
Yep. Now this thing just swaps around, this little blue one?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Now we're sailing, Ava.
A little rough out here today. I think we're gonna make our trip a little bit shorter. The waves are pretty rocky. There was a storm. Well, I don't know if it was a big storm, but there was some weather that rolled through here last night, I think it was. And this is the remnants of it at the end. But it's blowing 15 to 20-ish in there. We've got making about 6, well, bouncing between 6 and 8 knots. And we've got full Genoa out. We've got a reef in the main and a reef in the mizzen. Not my best sail plan, I guess, because the boat doesn't feel very well balanced, but it's good for now. It's keeping it mostly stable. And Sarah's downstairs trying to put Zoe down for a nap and hang out here for a little bit. Some big waves, but there's time between the waves is pretty long, so it makes it a lot more comfortable. And here's what the sails look like. So hopefully it's supposed to calm down as the day goes on, so we'll keep going and see how it goes. We're almost up to the Gloucester point there and Rockport, Mass, and once we're there we bang a right, and we'll be heading downwind at that point, so things will smooth out. So we're almost there, and it'll be a lot more comfortable here pretty soon. But it's good to be back out here. It's been a while since we were out here, and it's starting to feel kind of stuck in the marina. So we love being at the marina, but we love getting out here too. So anyways, that's all for now.
Hi, Ava. Here's just sailing. I figured you all would like to see how it goes. We are about like 30-40 minutes away from Gloucester. We were going to go to Marblehead this weekend, but there were some easterly winds and the people we're sailing with said, let's just do this instead. So here we are almost there. And it's been a kind of rough sail today. Like we started out and there was a small craft advisory, but there was like the last hour and a half of it, so it wasn't that bad. It was maybe like 16 to 17 knot winds. Just the waves have been really rolly. It said 2 to 4 foot, but it's just like you felt them.
More like 5 to 10.
Yeah, and you like I felt thrown. Literally, like I have running pants on and I was sliding off of the benches, the settees up here. So yeah. Thankfully, we have Zoe's crib strapped in. It's a pop-up tent. I think we've shown you before, but I can show you again soon. When she wakes up, that she's got a pop-up tent and we strap it to our bed so we could lay down with her while she gets ready to nap and stuff. So she's doing that now and she can sleep through all of it. We talked about her a bunch this morning and she just braces herself with her arms and her legs, and it's the sweetest thing. I'm so glad for that. Hope y'all are having a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Hi everyone, we are down below. Zoe just woke up and I wanted to show you her crib. So that's it right there, and it zips up and it has bungees, and we strap these around the bed so when she's in there and the boat's moving, it's really, really secure. Felt like I needed one of those today too. It was so rolly. But we are almost there. Joe is lowering the sails. He's got autopilot on, and I'm about to join Zoe and Ava in the cockpit. So hopefully we get more sleep tonight. We woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, Joe and I, to get to slack tide by 6 a.m., which is the best time to leave our marina because the currents are really strong. So timing is a factor, usually for us, coming and going. Zoe says hi. Yeah. She is the best boat baby, right? Yeah. Hello again. We are pulling into Gloucester Harbor. The sun is out. Zoe says hi. And it is feeling a lot better, of course, when we get to the harbor. But I think it's because we left early. And Joe just wanted to get here, and I got it. Like, have the day and pull in and it still be light out and not have to worry about putting the girls to bed at night while we're underway or cook dinner while we're underway or anything like that. But it's just not my favorite passage, but we're here. We are headed into the East Point Yacht Club. Please leave her alone. And we're gonna pick up a mooring ball. Joe and I have our hand signals. I guess the next time we have somebody else on board to film, we'll show you that. But yeah, we have to get close enough to pick up the mooring ball and point it into the wind. And I guess I should probably go now because the girls are trying to, I don't know. But yeah, we are here. All is well.